The Big 12 will have 16 teams in 2024, and the Pac-12 will no longer exist. This is Locked On Baylor.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Baylor. I'm Drake Toll from Sports Illustrated's Inside the Bears. Thanks for making Locked On Baylor your first listen every single day. If you've been following along with our content this week, especially on expansion, and you haven't subscribed, why? I see a lot of you are watching, and not enough of you are subscribing. Also, my mom texted me. She likes my haircut. So those the dissenters, take that. Pac-12 is not going to exist for a lot longer. I'm not torn by this. I've heard from so many people on Twitter that are very apologetic to the Pac-12, that are very sad. They like nostalgia. They're upset that the Pac-12 won't exist as a conference any longer. And I don't know if I'm in that camp. Maybe I'm cynical. Maybe I'm a pessimist, but I just don't think I care that much. I don't have a bone in me that thinks, oh, whoa, no, not the Pac-12. Don't ruin this conference I've grown up on. And I'm not upset. I'm not upset that the leadership has been so poor that teams are going to leave. You know why I'm not upset? Here's some of it. First, there are Pac-12 teams like Utah that a couple of years ago when the Big 12 was falling apart, they laughed. They scoffed. No way Baylor would ever get into our conference. No way we'd ever take an Oklahoma State or a TCU. No way we would take any school with a religious affiliation. Now what? I'm also not that upset because where are your historic brands that are left? You've already lost USC and you've lost UCLA. Who is still on the table that's that good? I'm going to get into it. You have Arizona and Arizona State, who are going to the Big 12 this week, by the way. It's going to happen today. Tomorrow, the Big 12 is going to vote by the weekend to let Arizona State in. They're really not that dominant in football historically. There aren't a lot of Pac-12 teams outside of UCLA and USC who have left who have dominated the landscape of college football. One of the ones who has a national championship, Colorado, they're already in the Big 12. How does this thing survive? You know what happens? Oh, buddy, we need to change the word. It's not expansion anymore. It's consolidation. And I'm okay with that because you go to a school district, all right? You grew up in Allen, Texas. And, man, there's this little school. There's Pink Hills next to you. Well, Pink Hills used to have a pretty big high school. They're pretty good. Now they've only got 300 kids K through 12. I don't know if they're going to make it. You know what they do? They consolidate. They become a part of Allen High School. You're in Park City, Utah. You're in American Fork, Utah. You have a little town next to you, and their school can't support the amount of kids that are there. Right? There's only a handful of kids. You can't stay open for business. That's not how it works. You can't just bus in more kids from somewhere else. No, at some point you consolidate. It's just kind of how things go. And it's where college football is. The Pac-12 was so bad. The product was bad. The leadership was bad. Dude, let's be real about this. UCLA has sucked for a little bit. USC has sucked for a little bit. While you have a team like BYU sitting in independent ball, beating the heck out of these teams and beating some Big Ten teams going, we'll stay independent. I don't blame them. USC fired Lane Kiffin on the tarmac and could barely they were just like, okay, a really good year. USC's 10-2. What is that? Historically, that's not what it's supposed to be. UCLA, historically, it's not what it's supposed to be. No one's coming to the games. The product's really bad. Nobody's going to pay to watch it on Apple TV. The Pac-12 is not going to survive. With Arizona and Arizona State leaving this weekend, with Colorado already gone, with USC and UCLA gone, what is left? Oregon and Washington, want to hang your hat there? Sources have reported that Washington's done talking. They don't want to talk to the Big 12. What are they doing? Who died and made you the belle of the ball? What does Washington have? Buddy, take a look around you in the Pac-12. Bow down to Washington. Hell, I can sing the entire fight song. I like the Huskies. I sure do. Mighty are the men who wear the purple and gold. but they're not that good. They don't have enough prowess in college football to be a program that stands the test of time. Speaking of time, you can't keep playing with it. The time's going to run out. Because here's what's going to happen. The Big 12 is going to move on to Arizona State. That's 15. Colorado in there. Arizona State's 15. I know I told you that it would cap at 14, but now, boy, things ramped up real quick within hours with Arizona and Arizona State. They're a package deal. They're going together. And when they do, you're not going to stick with an uneven number. No, sir. The Big 12 is going to keep going. And where are they going to go? Talks with Oregon are still open. And I don't think we should gloss over that. I am absolutely positive that the Big 12 now is not going to stop at 15. They're not going to stop at the odd number. They're going to go with somebody else. And Oregon, if they're still in conversations, will be exactly who it is. It's the one team that I look at out of the remaining Pac-12. Oregon, way better than Washington. Oregon, way better than Arizona and Arizona State. Way better than Colorado. They're the crown jewel. The Nike money's the crown jewel. Do they have a national championship? No, they don't. I wasn't alive for Colorado's. I bet most people weren't huge Buff fans back in the day. How much does that national championship for Colorado matter to you? I'm sure we'll scream its praises with them in the Big 12. I'm sure we will. But let's take a step back. The Big 12 is adding some teams that just aren't that good. Yeah. Think about it. What did they say? You know who's good in the Pac-12 right now? And God, it pains me to say it. Utah. Yeah. Utah is the one who's been winning games in the Pac-12, which maybe just goes to show how weak the Pac-12 has been. There is no reason the Pac-12 should exist next Tuesday. Tell me why. USC's gone, UCLA's gone. The moneymakers. How did you replace them? You didn't, dude. Listen to that. Did you just hear that? Your two moneymakers left the conference. Like the Big 12, Texas and Oklahoma left. How did you replace them? BYU, great brand. UCF, claimed a national championship. Cincinnati, college football playoff. And Houston, which exists. How did the Pac-12 respond with USC and UCLA leaving? Folks, they simply didn't. That was their bold strategy. Oh, yeah, you think you're going to leave? Well, guess what we're going to do? Nothing. Ha! Yeah. Are we shocked? And who is this pissed off? Who's sitting right now going, man, I'll pour one out, have a glass of scotch for the old Pac-12. Scotch sucks. This was inevitable at this point. The leadership's been so bad. The quality is not there. The product's not good. The big power teams, USC and UCLA, they haven't been good. I'm sorry. Washington's holding out for the Big Ten. Great. Good luck if they invite you. Oregon's holding out for the Big Ten or the Big 12. Still leaving conversations open. Good. The Big 12 could use you. If you're Utah, brother, you better hope. Utah, you better hope. You put the petty BS behind 2 seconds and say that you can play. You're okay with playing BYU, with losing to BYU, mind you. Just say, okay, I'm fine with losing to BYU if it means my program can survive. Otherwise, you'll be right back in a glorified Mountain West. People are reporting that San Diego State's talking to the Big 12. I think it'd be the funniest thing Brett Yormark could do. The funniest thing he could do is take San Diego State as a joke. Big old middle finger to the Pac-12. Somebody tweeted out the other day, it was like, yeah, Brett Yormark is just not a college football fan. He's a businessman. No, I think he is a college football fan. And I don't think he gives a crap about your Pac-12. Who does? Oh, I'm so sad the Pac-12's going away. Says no one. What kind of pansy are you? Oh, no. We don't get to see Cal and Stanford anymore on primetime. Who gives a rip? Get with the times. Get with the times by joining a place like LinkedIn Talent Solutions. This is Locked On Baylor, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. LinkedIn Talent Solutions is one of my favorite things that exists. You know why? Because I've been interviewing people to come and help me out with my jazz. I got a lot of jazz going on. I got a little flute. I got a little clarinet. I got a little trumpet. Sometimes I've got a trombone. I need help with it. So what did I do? I went to LinkedIn Talent Solutions, purple hashtag hiring frame. I said, look, brother, help me out. Help me find somebody to run my business. I bought a business like 3 weeks ago, pretty cheap, and now I'm an entrepreneur. I think it's what it is. It's an entrepreneur, someone who starts a business or someone who buys a business and owns a business. I don't know, but I think I'm an entrepreneur. And so I added my job to the purple hashtag hiring frame to spread the word that I'm hiring. Simple tools, screening questions, to make it easy to focus on candidates with the right skills and the right experience so you can quickly prioritize who you want to hire. It's why small businesses, they rate LinkedIn jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. Folks, I got big news coming. A couple of you know it. I've got big career and job news coming. And a big part of that, a big help with that has been LinkedIn Talent Solutions, because I need to find people to supplement me in my work. And that's where I've gone. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified people you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Keep in mind with that, terms and conditions, they certainly do apply. Arizona State and Arizona are coming to the Big 12 this weekend. There's supposed to be a meeting today. That is Thursday. And then amongst Arizona State, and then, which is already scheduled, public knowledge, by the way. Brett McMurphy tweeted this out. And then the Big 12 is going to vote within this weekend to bring Arizona and Arizona State to the Big 12. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I already told you that I liked Colorado because they have Deion Sanders and, some sort of upward trajectory. And right, like you can kind of take your national championship 30 years ago and shove it. What does that give you right now? Nothing. Let's be real. Nothing. Sorry. Now, what does Arizona give you? What does Arizona State give you? Drum roll. Also kind of nothing. Let's be real here. What's the moneymaker in the Big 12, in Texas, which is the flagship state of the Big 12, in college athletics? What's the moneymaker? It's football. And guess what has not been very good historically at Arizona? Football. How about Arizona State? Also football. I want to take you on a little run here of some of the bowl games that Arizona State and Arizona have played in the last few years. Like Arizona in 2017, their last bowl year, the Foster Farms Bowl. Yeah. Yeah. Within the last couple decades, Las Vegas Bowl, Independence Bowl. They've been to the Alamo Bowl in 2009. The New Mexico Bowl a couple of times. The Holiday Bowl, that's a Big 12. That's a big Pac-12 one. Fiesta Bowl is the lone New Year's Bowl that Arizona's been to. You think that's good? The 2014 Fiesta Bowl, that's good. Do you think only one of those is good? Now, Arizona State has been to, guess what? One New Year's Six Bowl. Their last few bowl games, the Sun Bowl, the Cactus Bowl, the Las Vegas Bowl, the 2012 Craft Fight Hunger Bowl, where they won 62-28 against Navy. The year before that, they won the Mako Las Vegas Bowl. Just kidding. They lost it 56-24 to Boise State. What a joke. This is not good. The last Rose Bowl they played in, 1997. What's the last relevant thing? Dude, please hear me out here. What's the last relevant thing that Arizona or Arizona State did in football? I went to Baylor, graduated from Baylor 2 months ago. While I was in school, I only went to college 4 years. Can't say the same about some of my counterparts, especially at Arizona State. I was in school for 4 years. I went to 2 New Year's Six Bowls. I went to 2 Big 12 championships at a program like Baylor that many would not consider to be as historic as Arizona, a powerful state school, or Arizona State, a powerful state school. Let's be honest. Baylor's not the biggest show in town. You have UT. You have A&M. You have teams like Texas Tech that would say they are, and TCU, they say they are. There's a ton of pro sports here. Baylor went to 2 New Year's Six Bowls during my 4-year tenure and won one of them. Those 2 New Year's Six Bowls that Baylor went to while I was in college are the same number that Arizona and Arizona State have been to combined. We are sitting here real excited about Big 12 expansion with these new teams. And what I think we're kind of missing is how bad some of these teams are. Arizona's been maybe the worst Power 5 team in college football within the last 3 years, at a given point in the last 3 years. Arizona State could pretty much give them a run for their money. They just fired Herm Edwards, like a legendary, possible Hall of Fame coach. Got fired because he couldn't win at Arizona State. Colorado, man, the only saving grace about Colorado is how good Deion Sanders is or was at Jackson State. That's the big, like, oh, yeah, Colorado's going to be a good fit for this conference because Deion Sanders coaches there. Newsflash, Deion Sanders does not coach at Arizona State, and he doesn't coach at Arizona. What I want you to do, without looking, name the Arizona head coach. It's Jed Fish. He is 6-18 right now. Now what I want you to do, I want you to do me a favor. Name the head coach at Arizona State. Yeah, you're going to struggle. You certainly are going to struggle there, aren't you? Now, name one active player on the roster of either team. I mean, you could probably name 5 all-time players at Arizona State. Terrell Suggs, Pat Tillman, Darren Woodson. They played there. That's good, I guess. Arizona, who do you got? Start to struggle a little bit? Yeah. It's not good. You're adding wins is what you're at. Dude, I'm sweating right now because I'm so fired up about this. They're great brands. They are. Great basketball, too, and I'm excited to have that basketball in there. I'm excited to have Arizona basketball in this conference. The Big 12 is still going to be a basketball forward, a basketball-heavy conference. And God bless, Colorado's going to suck. But, man, we get all hopped up on these football teams. Who's paying for it? This isn't a historic rivalry in college football. This isn't. Arizona State have played less than 100 games. This isn't one of the marquee. You think, okay, name the top 10 greatest rivalries in college football. Nobody says Arizona State. Nobody's paying to watch it. Nobody's watching it. Nobody's really watching Colorado, Arizona. If Colorado and Arizona State have played in the last 5 years, which they have, maybe. What are a couple of the instances? Maybe what are some of the scores? Do you know? No. We're getting real hyped up over teams that just don't matter in the grand scheme of college football. They're good enough to keep the Big 12 as a Power 3. I think so. But yikes. This might be some automatic wins for Baylor, for a BYU, for an Oklahoma State, for a Texas Tech. You're adding some bad football teams, and I'm okay with it. Just need to realize, as excited as we're getting over Arizona State, they're pretty bad. And you can't tell me otherwise. That's what the numbers say. I hope they're good. I hope they both win a lot of games this next year before they go to our conference. But geez, not great. Not great. Unlike Locked On Baylor, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is great. All right, the death of the Pac-12. Is it bad for college football? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And there are so many people who are tweeting. Brett Yormark is not a college football fan. He's a businessman, and he is going to assimilate. He is going to take. He is going to pillage. And so many people are tweeting, I'm going to miss the Pac-12. And, it's going to be so sad when they're gone. And I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for these fans. Why? Have you nothing else to do? What in your mind is like, man, those Pac-12 fans are heavy on my heart today. I really feel for them. Why? Look, if Baylor had gotten left behind in expansion, would I want some random fan in Colorado to care about us? Like, man, it's good to know that those fans out there of NC State are really upset that Baylor's not a Power 5 school anymore or that the Big 12 died. No, there were no condolences. Nobody was handing out I'm sorries when the Big 12 was going to implode. 2 years ago, we were thinking, okay, wow, I hope Baylor can go somewhere big. I hope Baylor can go to the Pac-12. Which, wild, by the way, that 2 years ago, Baylor was kind of begging to go to the Pac-12. Yeah. And now the Pac-12 doesn't exist. And the Big 12's as strong as ever. I just don't know. I don't know how you have the time and capacity to sit and think, wow, I feel really bad. I feel really, really bad for the Pac-12. Who, in your nostalgia bone, name me a couple of legendary Pac-12 games. Cal, Stanford, the band is on the field. Dope. Awesome. Like, I got, give it to you. I'm young, right? And I just don't know. I just can't pinpoint you a big Pac-12 moment. There's been one Pac-12 team to make the college football playoff, and it was Washington. Mighty of the men who wear the purple and the gold. That's what you're hanging. That's what you're saying goodbye to. You're bidding adieu to this historic conference. Great baseball, unbelievable softball. What are you losing in football, man? That's what people care about is football. And the Pac-12 is just not that good. USC 2004. I have seen, you know what? I've seen a picture of the Oregon football team losing to Auburn on Jeff Grimes' wall. Yeah, 100%. That's the closest the Pac-12's gotten in the past almost 20 years. Yeah, I don't know if I'm spending my time. I don't know if I'm spending my time caring about teams like Utah, fans like Utah that have bickered for years about how, oh, we are in the Pac-12 and you're not. To BYU, right? Utah fans have thought they could bully BYU because they were in the Pac-12 that's now dead. Cal, Stanford. Some of these teams are like, oh, we couldn't be associated with those schools in the Big 12 who have such poor academics. Now what? You know what makes the most money? I get your research is lucrative. College athletics makes the most money, and your TV deal's a joke. Your conference is a joke. You're not going to exist. Why would the Big Ten want Stanford? To be a Vanderbilt? Why would they want Stanford? Why would they want, more importantly, I could kind of get Stanford, I guess. I'll reason with you because hell of a place. Really good athletics outside of football-ish. Basketball's not great. Everything but a revenue sport or remotely revenue sport, yeah, pretty good. Why would anybody want Cal? Why would anybody want Cal? Why would anybody want Oregon State or Washington State? Guys, let me be honest with you here. Why would anybody want Arizona State? Who is sitting here thinking, man, I really am going to miss watching Washington State play Oregon State on Saturdays. It's not happening. Don't waste your time eulogizing the Pac-12 when A, they've done it themselves, B, they've been nothing but pompous to teams from the Big 12 for years. And how? For what? One team in the college football playoff, that's what you're eulogizing. That's what you're saying goodbye to. That's what you're saying, oh, Brett Yormark, he's a poacher. He goes out and he takes. He's not a college football fan. He has no room for fandom. He's just a businessman. My ass. No. Brett Yormark, he knows college athletics. Brett Yormark knows hoops. He knows ball. And he doesn't care about the whole nostalgia bone thing when he's saving the teams that want to go from sheer disaster. Oh, just grinds my gears, man. All these eulogizing posts. I'm going to miss the Pac-12. I'm not. Best of luck with that. Best of luck coming back tomorrow to watch Locked On Baylor. It'll be there. This has been, it always will be. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Locked On. Join us again because I love you and my haircut. Baylor.